we're back this time with Sean Norton. Hiya, Sean. How you doing?
Very well, thank you, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, mate. So, Sean, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do for SCL.
So, I work as head of commercial, is my title at the moment. Been with SCL for 3 years, but mainly my role is to really drive the commercial aspects of our apprenticeship provision, adult education and traineeships. Very much about employer engagement and sort of creating opportunities for young people to complete an apprenticeship and utilising our adult education allocation delivery and spend in maths and English delivery or potentially online courses that some of our own staff have been completing during COVID, which is good.
Good. So who's Sean outside of work?
So I'm a father of a 2-year-old boy called William. He was a bit of a tearaway. I'm sure many parents have found out a lot about their children during this period. I'm a golfer. Well, I'm not a very good golfer, but after my football career ended, I've tried to take up golf, which is good. Gets me out and about, a bit of walking. And I have recently, I'm not a fitness buff, I'm not going to admit that, but I've recently been training to do a cross country from one side of the Penzance to the other with John Davison, actually, our head of central operations, a 23-mile run. Thankfully, it got cancelled this year due to COVID, which gives me another year to train because training's not been going so well either. But,
no, not so good.
But I suppose I put it out there now, so I have to complete it next year. There's no getting away from it. So
absolutely, no pressure, Sean and John. It's been said, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, what is it about your job that you love so much, Sean? Why do you work in work-based learning? So
I'm quite passionate about I've been in apprenticeships now for 3 years at SCL, but 3 years prior to that at a previous company. I'm passionate about apprenticeships. I completed an apprenticeship at a later age in my career, so I completed a management apprenticeship. So I suppose my job, what I love about my job is I'm a people person. I love building relationships. I love solving problems for partners, taking the time to understand quality and operations at SCL, which has enabled me to come up with solutions and support my partners or our partners further. I'm just very, very passionate about working with people and building relationships. I suppose I'm waffling on now, but yeah, there you go.
Absolutely, I think I can second that. Passionate is definitely a good word for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I get very excited when I'm passionate. Energy. Hence why I talk to
you. Who is Sean outside of work? I think everyone's heard you. They may not know you, but they've certainly heard you.
Well, that's a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing, Sean. We love a bit of personality and a bit of enthusiasm, and you're full of it, aren't you? Okay, cool. So, I mean, it's different, isn't it, being in lockdown and being by yourself, albeit a team kind of remotely. How's that been for you?
I've been very lucky. I suppose my role, I've previously worked days from home anyway, so I've had some exposure to working from home. But I've been very lucky in the sense that I moved down to Dorset, Lulworth Cove, back in March. My mother-in-law lives down in Lulworth Cove, so she's actually helped both my wife and I with the childcare element. So I'm quite lucky in the sense that I can come to work at 9 o'clock or just before and work my way through while we've got childcare in the house. So lockdown for me, it's been interesting. Miss family, miss my friends, miss the pub. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, it's been hard to adjust from a family and a social side of things, but from a work point of view, I've actually had a focus. I've got a set room where I lock myself in and I can just crack on with what I need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what, that starting at a certain time, finishing and just keeping that motivation and you know it being a normal work day as best you can, it wonders, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Despite the noise in the background for both of us, I'm sure. So what words of support would you like to share to your fellow parent workers? What are you doing? What can you tell us to do to keep sane?
I'm drinking a lot of coffee. No,
you was going to say something else then, Sean.
Doing that as well. No, but the thing for me is making sure that I've got my workspace, which is separate. So I've actually got a room. I leave my laptop in here. When I'm working, I'm in here. When I'm not working, I shut the door. So it's not a bedroom. It's not my living room. I know that I'm lucky in the sense that I can do this in the location that I'm at, but it does really help me. Advice for them is Netflix. I don't know about everybody else, but the children Netflix kills me. There is some really bad kids programs on there. For some reason, William seems to choose the worst. There's one, he calls it Bus, and it's just awful songs. So I spent a bit of money on buying some DVDs. I know it's a bit old school, but brought some DVDs. So films that I actually don't mind watching, Peter Rabbit being one of them, one of the favourites. And we've just watched Farmageddon recently, Shaun the Sheep. So
yeah,
you make sure you've got something for them. As I said, my mother-in-law's been great. So we're quite lucky at the beach. So he goes out and has lots of walks. I try and do as many as I can with him in the evenings, in the mornings, and at the weekend. So getting him out and spending some quality time with him, which I'd never get again, has been amazing. It's just getting that balance right.
Yeah, absolutely. The balance is the big deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, it's quite nice to be able to have that extra hour either side of the day to spend with our kids.
Yeah.
The mornings are far less stressful than they used to be. It's brilliant. Okay, so what is your favourite work from home playlist, Sean?
Well, Cheryl, you know me. I think a few people in the business know me. I've got quite a weird and wonderful, eclectic taste in music. It's very much about how I'm feeling on a day. One day it might be heavy metal with System of a Down and Slipknot. The next day it might be some indie rock with the Deers and Block Party, to even going as far as some classical, depending on how I'm feeling. Like a bit of Hans Zimmer, he does a lot of movie classicals, if anyone wants to check him out. To comedy rock bands. Lonely Island, some people might know Lonely Island. When I'm in a playful mood, I sort of listen to a lot of Lonely Island, which makes
I've heard some of it. It's interesting, you're right. Good description of your taste.
But one of the ones that my wife hates that I keep playing at the moment is a Swedish band. It's not even in English, called Sigur Rós. So yeah, it's
your poor wife.
Yeah.
Sean, Costa or Starbucks?
Costa.
Oh, get out of here, Starbucks.
Can't beat a Costa latte. Plus, they're always in the garages. You get the little machines, so you get Costas more than you do Starbucks, I find.
Even worse. Bourbon or hobnobs?
Hobnob.
Oh, yes, me too. Milk chocolate hobnob all day long. Excellent. Sean, so give us one last question. Give us some advice. What would you say, or what kind of tips could you give young people looking for a career in sport?
I suppose for me, a career in sport doesn't mean you're playing sport. If you're passionate about sport, there are loads of opportunities, and hence why the apprenticeship provision that we try to offer tailors a variety of pathways. So whether you're back office admin support, whether you're in a commercial kind of role like myself, whether you're doing some teaching, mentoring, coaching, there are a variety of pathways in sport. So if it's something that you're passionate about, just persevere with it. If you get to play it, that's an added bonus. But if you really want to work within sport, and just have an open mind, look at other opportunities. Digital marketing, social media, there's some fantastic opportunities within sport. It's about making sure people are aware of all of the opportunities that are available. But at the end of the day, you're still young, you're still passionate about playing. I would always say keep playing, keep yourself fit, keep motivated, keep working hard towards your goal, but also look at something to fall back on, just in case that doesn't happen. But you could still have an influence within the game, which is great. Yeah,
good advice, Sean. Brilliant to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully I'll see you in person very soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks everybody. Speak to you later.